Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Emotional Eating Unwrapped. I'm your host, Alana Kessler, and today we're going to talk about asking for help and getting support on your weight loss journey. And I feel like this topic is really important, and it's really essential that we talk about this part of it and that we give attention and we raise awareness around how much of a joint effort weight loss is, and how much weight loss is not just about eating and food, but how much it is about how ready is your nervous system to lose the weight? How much is your environment and your social circle and the people that you spend most of your minutes and hours with supportive, or in the messy middle with you when it comes to your weight loss goals? And it's so important to recognize that when we are losing weight, we're not just losing pounds. We are going to be letting go of a part of ourselves that the people that we live our lives with have become used to for a really long time. And this is no small thing. This is no small thing that when we lose weight, we don't just lose physical pounds, we lose an identity. And it's so important to recognize that this journey of weight loss, sometimes it is our journey, but sometimes other people's emotions, feelings, opinions, um, ability to be supportive does really matter when it comes to whether or not we're going to be successful, or whether or not we won't be successful, or whether or not it will feel easy and and seamless or light, or whether it will feel heavy and there'll be a lot of resistance around it. And it's important to recognize also that as we embark on this journey and we lose weight and we lose parts of ourselves, that, not necessarily that we lose parts of ourselves, but we let go of certain parts of ourselves that the weight has been covering up, or we now all of a sudden illuminate new parts of ourselves that the weight has been covering up, right? When we lose weight, we become a different version of ourselves. And our loved ones, though they might want the best for us, they might not always understand exactly what we're going through. They might not always understand our inner, our inner self, our inner goals, all those, internal results that we're seeking. And in order to be able to succeed and reach our goals, it's important that we remember that support on this individual journey and feeling like we're seen, feeling like we're supported, even if people don't necessarily understand 100% why. And that's part of what this episode is about. It's honoring the fact that weight loss is almost especially if you are in a relationship, if you have people in your life that are close to you and you have intimacy with, which is wonderful and beautiful, that it is our responsibility to remember that when we change our identity and when we change a part of ourselves that is familiar not only to ourselves but to everyone else, it is our responsibility to honor that, not put other people's opinions about it or feelings about it ahead of ours. But it is important for us to succeed long term, to evolve and elevate our awareness around needing to include these close people in our journey. And in order to do that, we need to be able to express our needs. We need to be able to make requests. And we need to be able to take actions that are best aligned with our goals without feeling guilty or pressured to abandon ourselves in any way. And that is really, really key. And it's a skill to learn how to ask and receive support while also being strong in making sure that your needs come first, your comfort comes first, and we're not abandoning that in order to keep the peace and make other people feel better. Because ultimately, the journey of weight loss isn't just vanity. It's not just about fitting into a smaller size. It's not just about having a smaller physique. It's not just about being smaller, right? In fact, weight loss is about removing all of that extra baggage, that extra weight, so that we can more fluidly and efficiently and lovingly and connectedly and worthily move through life easier. Right? Think about what it feels like to carry extra weight that you know is unwanted, or something that, or weight that you don't feel is like you and valid. It's heavy, it's sloshy, it's like, right? But when we lose the weight, it's not just about being smaller physically, right? It's about being lighter, more agile. It's about having a bigger life, a more fulfilling lifestyle, because we have this space and we have more space to move into, and we have more clarity, and our bodies are, able to receive more because the weight that we've been carrying in protection is gone. And so how do we do this? Right? How do we ask for help and get support on the weight loss journey? So the first thing that I want to talk about, the first tip, is going to be embrace vulnerability. And it's understanding that vulnerability doesn't make us weak. It doesn't make us, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us. It doesn't mean that we need to be fixed. Right? In reality, being vulnerable is a sign that we're allowing ourselves to be open about what we need, and shows a deep, deep inner strength. So if you're talking to your family and you're talking to your friends, and you start by having an honest conversation about your goals and the reasons behind your weight loss journey from a place of empowerment, you can start to create a really strong support system. So a lot of my clients, when they first embark on a weight loss journey, there's almost this hard shell, right? Like, it's our journey. And any of the tools and any of the accountability measures that we have to do to promote success needs to be ours, and is kind of embarrassing. So something that I've seen with my clients, when I work with clients, whether it's in any program that I have, journaling is really key. And I have a very particular way of having my clients journal, and it's less about recalling what you eat, and it's more holistic, and it's much more about integrating emotions, feelings, understanding some of those blind spots that are sometimes really hard to uncover. So my journaling technique is very unique, but it requires attention, and it requires that my clients participate in the journaling process on a regular basis. And something that I've noticed when I first start working with people is that they'll tell me that, oh, I'm going out to dinner with friends, and so I'm not going to journal today. Right? I'm not going to journal because I don't want people seeing that I'm journaling, and I don't want to have to deal with the questions. I'm like, it's just going to, there's a certain shame or hiding that comes with the journaling. And what's interesting is that my clients will sometimes feel, or my students will sometimes feel like they can hide that part of themselves from other people, and then they'll get back on it when they're by themselves, right? So they'll say, I'm not going to journal when I'm with people or at this dinner, but I'll get back on it in the morning when I'm by myself. And what they don't understand is that that compartmentalization of saying, like, I'm not allowed to be fully myself. I'm not allowed to embody my goals, my dreams, and take those actions towards those goals and dreams in public, right? Because that's shameful or that's embarrassing. And instead, I'm only going to do that when I'm alone. They don't understand that that mindset, that mentality, that belief system, that attitude is actually the thing that's hindering their success. And once I tell them that actually the work and the success isn't going to come with having the perfect food journal, but it's going to come with being able to say to your friends and family in an empowered way, I'm doing this. I want to lose weight. I want to achieve this goal. And therefore, these are the actions I'm taking, and I'm going to do it out loud and proud. I'm going to do it here at dinner tonight. And when people say, what are you doing? You're going to say, really proudly, I am journaling because this is what I really want, and this is what I really want to do. When you can say it out loud that you really want something that's vulnerable to you, something that in your mind you might think makes you imperfect, or you might have a limiting belief that this is a flaw, or this is something that you have to tackle all by yourself, and you'll emerge, as the results of version of yourself. And then, you can, you can be fully expressed. No, it's when you're fully expressed in the messy middle, when you're fully expressed as you're in process of transformation. This is when you can get people to be inspired. You can get them to understand why. You get them to see that you are courageous enough to integrate your goals and integrate your accountability and actions in your life, actually in your day-to-day life. You're not compartmentalizing. And these are the actions that are going to get people to support you. Is that you realize that something you thought might create judgment is actually something that brings a real feeling of support. So embracing vulnerability, that's the first one. The second one is curating your energetic space. So when you think about curating your energetic space, it's really about your environment, right? How can you create a supportive environment for yourself? And here are some of my favorite ways to do this. And the way that I think about environment is your physical environment, right? The food you have around, but also your energetic environment, the relational dynamic energy that you metabolize and digest. So we metabolize and digest food, and we metabolize and digest energy. And it's important to understand that both of these things fall under the environment. So you want to surround yourself with people who inspire you, who create positive energy, who take responsibility for themselves, right? So we don't have to always be happy, but at least if there's if there's some emotions that are negative, there's a certain accountability for it. There's a certain communication around it. And so you want to share your energetic space with people who are on the level of communication, of personal accountability, that you are, both emotionally and physically, and you share, and it is important to be with people who share similar goals for their own path, share similar values, right? Not everybody is going to necessarily be on a weight loss journey or on a health journey or on an emotional eating recovery journey, but someone that you want to surround yourself with people that are trying to grow on a growth journey, personal growth journey, always wanting to make themselves the best version of themselves. And then the second thing is you want to give yourself permission to remove yourself or establish strong boundaries from situations where you know there might be unsupportive people, or where you'll be around situations or people that create triggers, or that they have their own triggers that aren't necessarily gonna serve you. They're not gonna be helpful for you. Okay, so you want to establish boundaries around that. If you know some people don't have good communication style, or more, they're you kind of get into conflict with them, or you end up getting pulled out of your center, and you get triggered. You just want to create some boundaries around them. Third is you want to think ahead and be proactive about what you need to feel secure and confident, and empower yourself to provide what you need for yourself. Right? So you want to curate your space by thinking ahead. Right? So if you're going on a vacation, or you're going to family for a holiday or for a weekend, you want to think ahead and be like, do I have everything I need, whether I bring it myself or reach out and ask for it, to make myself feel comfortable, secure, like I can maintain my goals, like I can live within my values, like my needs are going to get met. Right? You want to make sure that you are doing that. You're doing that mental work to think ahead. And then the last thing is you want to be willing to ask for help through sharing the support, and sharing how the support will lift you up and help you. Okay, so if you are going somewhere for a weekend or for a holiday, and you want to make sure that the energetic space is curated in service for you to sustain and keep your goals top of mind, you want to ask for help, and you want to ask for help in a way that lets the other person know what getting that help will provide for you, how getting that help will make you feel. You don't want to ask for help like a demand, where someone's like, okay, you're asking me for this, but it feels more like a demand than a request, right? You want to make a request. And when you make the request comes with, this is what I really want, and this is why. And if I get this, this is how I will feel. Okay, so now once you do that, what do you do if the people close to you aren't supportive? And if the people close to you aren't supportive, then you need to be ready and willing to give yourself some space. And this can be difficult, this can be sad, but you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're trying to convince people to support you. And sometimes when the closest people to you aren't supportive, it can be very seductive to argue with them, to negotiate with them, to get into fights with them, because we have this idea that they need to be unconditionally supportive, but that's not always the case. So you want to get to this understanding that if people are not supportive, your close friends and family, you need to have those internal self-care anchors that you can turn to find that support for yourself, so that you have the bandwidth to create space from the close people in your life that aren't supportive. And I'll tell you from personal experience, a lot of times when you do that, those close people will come back around and they'll be supportive. A lot of times they just need to do it at their own time. Okay, so you have to be willing to create that space. And so because of this, it can be so helpful to have a wider community of people who are supportive of you. And these can be like not such close friends, right? They could be community people that are in the same healing group as you, in the same program as you, right? Because new friends and community that aren't in your immediate circle can be so immensely helpful because there's support with anonymity. And support with anonymity has really great benefits. You don't have that subconscious feelings of taking care of other people's feelings or worrying about what they think or their feelings about your journey, right? These is just completely it feels just like complete support, complete feeling seen. The last piece is asking for help. The last piece of asking for help, yikes, is making sure that we don't push people away and we don't push it away when people finally do offer support, right? And this is something I've talked about in other episodes where women have a hard time receiving support sometimes, and without micromanaging or criticizing or pre-qualifying or judging themselves. And so it is really important that we really learn how to receive that support and feel worthy of the support and let that support tenderize ourselves. And remember that having support is such an integral piece and part of overcoming emotional eating and successfully losing weight long term. And I want to leave you with this powerful reminder. Okay, your weight loss journey, it's a personal experience, but having a supportive environment, whether that's people, again, that's energy, can make it easier and so much more sustainable and so much more fulfilling and grounded. So thank you so much for joining me today. And don't forget to join me again next week with another new episode about emotional eating so you can fall in love with eating and start losing weight, keep it off with sustainable strategies and lasting change. And if you found this episode insightful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with those who may benefit from this empowering knowledge. I also have lots of free resources on my website to help you on your journey to loving food and losing weight. Just go to www.bewellbyak.com. Until next time, I'm Alana, and thank you for listening to Emotional Eating Unwrapped.